Just like all traditional good old entrepreneurs, we often find ourselves saying something that we can all relate to, which is, I can do this better myself. If you've ever found yourself saying that, you've probably got a business, a side hustle, you are probably a leader, because if you found yourself saying, this doesn't work, I can do it better myself, you found that streak of entrepreneurship within you. And I've been in and out of that entrepreneurship cycle for many years, building my career, because I knew I had it in me, but then there was also parts of me that wasn't taking the risk fully. So I would go into a really nice, safe, secure, cushy job, and then I'd be like, but I can do this differently, or I can do more, and I'm meant for more than this. I don't want to just do it. So yeah, eventually, for those who have been following me for a really long time, have come to learn that yes, eventually I did start a business. I actually started 4 and closed 4, like as in I failed 4 at 4 previous businesses. But we won't go into that today. That's a story for another day. But the one that did end up working out is me here today. That's why I'm here. So welcome back to the Money Honey Show. I am so delighted to be with you here today. I'm your host, Rosalia Lazara-Tilly, and I've been running the Money Honey podcast now for probably 16 months, actually. And we've interviewed over 100 women in property, finance, and construction. And I love this part of my job because I get to hear the stories of these talented, ambitious women of all levels in these sectors. So whether they are in law, in property, in accountancy, in construction, they have somehow broken some sort of mold, and they've expanded beyond their maybe what other people saw as limitations. And so speaking of that, speaking of breaking the mold and diving into entrepreneurship, I've got a very special guest here today, someone that I've actually been coaching behind the scenes on social media, branding and content, someone that I've been working with behind the scenes on how to build her brand awareness and her reputation online, because she already has a phenomenal reputation offline. You know, she's very highly regarded and she's got a very successful track record. And I need people to know about her. I was like, we need to get your name out there, because when I find a good person, when I find a reputable person, I want to scream and shout about it from the rooftop. So she is behind the scenes right now. I hope she's not too nervous to chat to me again, because I keep pushing her out of her comfort zone, and I don't know why she keeps showing up. I'm like, I thought I would have put her off forever. Like, I was at her house the other day doing the bulk content creation day, and so that meant that we had to do 3 months worth of content, and she managed to smash it within 3 hours and 45 minutes. But I believe she hated every single second. But I don't care, because the result was there. Like, the result, she did it and she absolutely looked amazing. But yeah, I'm just super proud of her for pushing outside of her boundaries and her comfort zone. So this particular Money Honey today that I'm introducing you to, if you're listening, this is a person who was in a 9-to-5 as a solicitor, working in the corporate world. And she was just like, do you know what? No, I've had enough of these case files piling up and piling up. My clients, I can't return my clients' calls in time. When I go on holiday, more stuff gets allocated to me and it's passed from pillar to post to my colleagues, and then no one takes care of that file the same way I do, and my clients are suffering because of it. So she said no to that, no more. I'm going to start my own business. And so she became a self-employed solicitor, now offering that flexible but personal service to her clients. And that's what we are working on with her brand and her campaign for social media. But she's going to tell us more about her journey and where it all began, because there's an element to this story about how our parents influence us. And given that she's a parent herself, she carries that torch of how she wants to raise her children, but also what she's doing for the wider society and community about financial literacy, because she really enjoys actively engaging in talks with the youth, and she wants to empower the next generation to navigate the property market. You can tell why we get on, right? So for anyone who has been following me for longer than an hour, you'll know that I do a lot of work in schools and I love working with the next generation, as well as empowering women to show up and be more confident in front of the camera, or to be more confident at showing up in the industry and being a face of this industry. So that's enough from me. We want to hear from the Money Honey guest today. I would like to welcome you all to Jaz Dhaliwal. Hello, Jaz. How are you doing?
Hi, Ross. Thank you for having me. And what an amazing intro. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Like, thank you for your generous time for being here today. 2 days in a row with me, like I said in my intro. Don't know why you keep coming back, but thank you for not running away, because you have got so much to give and we've only just begun. So, for those people who don't know you, tell us, who are you and what do you do?
So, I'm Jazz. I am a consultant solicitor. I am a mum juggling two children, 4 and 6. I live in Buckinghamshire. I was initially, as you said in your intro, I was working for a 9 to 5 corporate firm. It wasn't for me. I knew there was more to give, better results. And I went out probably like 6 years ago and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do it by myself. I was so scared. I was so nervous. You're never going to make money in that first month. So it was always like, oh, am I going to make it? Am I not? Should I stick to the 9 to 5? Is it secure? Is it not? But I did it and here I am.
Here you are. Yes, Jazz. Everyone wants that kind of, not everyone, but those who do want that um business, or they want to go self-employed, that first step of quitting that 9 to 5 is the hardest thing to do. I mean, I had no choice. It quit me. I lost my job. And actually I find that more nerve-wracking because you have no control over that. I lost the
Mm,
control. I was put in that position of, oh, Ros, okay, you're on furlough and then you're redundant. Now what are you going to do? And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, right, okay, cool. Let's think on our feet. Whereas if you
yeah.
want to quit the 9 to 5 and you're making a plan, you're in control. And actually, I find that more empowering. However, what ends up happening is, because you're in a safe job, you find it harder to quit because you're not being pushed out the door. So what made it for you, Jazz? Like, how did you push yourself to do it?
Um, I think I started off with when I was going back on holidays, I was coming back with lots of caseloads, a lot of client complaints. The case wasn't, actioned, it wasn't, nothing was dealt with. And I was like, good God, like I can do it like 100 times better. Like, this is why we get such a bad reputation for solicitors being slow when they just don't need to be. And I'm like so sick of it. And I was just like, right, okay, I'm going to have to do something. I fell pregnant and I was on maternity. And I was like, right, okay, either I go back to 9 to 5 because that's the best option, being pregnant, and you want that security, that safe home, or this is my time to kind of like jump ship. And I thought about it, and I didn't want to ask for permission. I didn't want to say I want to go on holidays or my child is sick and all of that to come. And I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do it now. So I gave in my notice during maternity. I had no job. I didn't even know consultancy existed. I didn't know where I was going to go with it. I didn't want to open up my own practice at the time because it was just so overwhelming with pregnancy and everything. So I gave myself a bit of a breather. My first daughter came along, and then I think within that first month, I like literally applied. I was like, right, okay, this is my moment. I think a couple of weeks after that, I got an interview, landed myself a consultancy job. Um, First month was daunting. I was like, oh my God, like, what have I done? I've got no income, no nothing. My husband was like, oh, why don't you go back to the 9 to 5? At least it gave you that security. You're so panicked. And I was like, no, 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 I'm going to make it work. Like, I have, like, made my bed. I'm going to do it. So it was really like me against the world. And I fought everything. And I made it. And I was just like, oh my God, I am so glad I didn't listen to anyone. I just listened to myself and I told myself I can do it. I manifested it. People say, if you believe it, you say it, you think it, it's going to happen. So it was just like, right, okay, it's happening. It's going to happen.
Oh, right, guys, you can see why we had to meet and why we got on so instantly well together. Like, we just, you just contacted me out of the blue on LinkedIn, like
Yeah.
literally just, the universe has a funny way of working things out. And I'm just so glad, you chose to have me by your side on this journey. I know you've been doing it on your own for 6 years. So, like I said, you have a very good reputation. You're very successful without me. Now it's just about telling the story. And look at you, you're showing up now. Whoever's listening to this podcast today, even if we change one life today from someone listening to you, how does that make you feel, Jazz?
Oh, that's amazing. Like, I didn't have anyone tell me. So if someone heard my story and was like moving mountains from it, wow.
Yeah, that's what this is about. So well done to you for being here, and thank you for being a money honey, because that's exactly what this show is about. We always wish we had that person who could be the evidence to what we could see. If she can, I can, because sometimes we
Yeah.
believe in others more than we believe in ourselves. And I just want to go back to your husband's comment that I know I raised my eyebrows, but I know what he meant. I know he meant well, and our families do this to protect us. And that
Yeah.
is, yeah, they're not doing it to hold you back or whatever. It's just that they don't want to see you hurt. And the people that love you the most are the people that will hold you the back the most, because they're the ones that are like, Ross, why are you doing it? Just go back, get a nice job. Like like he was saying, he's like, I don't want you to see you upset or stressed. But that gave you fire. How did that make you
Yeah.
feel when someone was like, even your husband, right? Don't worry, Jazz, just go, or I'll cover this. Have you ever had
Yeah.
that? I'll do this for
Yeah. Like
us.
even now, he's like, "Oh, why do you do this? Like we've got it covered." And I'm like, "No, don't say that now."
No, no, we don't
I
want to
think
hear that.
at the time, I guess it was just like, no, I can't listen to it. It was just like mental block out. I think I stopped telling him how I felt because I just didn't need that energy. I was just like, no, no.
Yeah,
You
I
just
love
gotta like
that.
block it out, right? Like you gotta believe in yourself. Like you gotta blow your own trumpet, right? Like no one else is gonna do that for
Yes.
you.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, that I literally did a post saying you might want to scroll past because I'm about to blow my own trumpet right now, because not
Oh,
because my
really?
husband. Yeah, I actually did it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, go back, have a look. You can take inspo from it and do your own, please. I did say in that post, I said, I dare you. In the post, I said, if you're reading this, I dare you to copy what I've just done and do the same. And not many people
Oh,
did.
okay. I'll look back.
Yeah. So, Jazz, if you want to take the lead, that'd be amazing. I'd love to see you blowing your own trumpet. Let's get a band march going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think when I first landed on my ass from redundancy, I was like, oh my God, we have a mortgage. We'd only just, we were fairly new living together because we bought the house in 2017. And I got made redundant in 2020. And we hadn't got married yet. And so, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I've now got the biggest debt of my life on my shoulders and the least amount of income, well, no income. I literally have nothing. And all my
Mhm.
savings had gone into the house, and we were doing the kitchen and the garden, and we were doing the house up. And I was like, how can I ask my boyfriend to sustain us? Like, there's nothing embarrassing. I don't want people to listen to this and be like, what's so embarrassing about your partner, whatever gender, wanting to support you? There's nothing, it's not about that.
Yeah.
If you relate to what Jazz and I are saying, it's just that self-worth feeling of, accomplishment. It's not about the money. Even my parents said, like, Roz, your last paycheck kind of takes you up to December 2020. In January, if you want us to cover your bills, we would, whilst you're building your business, because they weren't saying go back to a job. They're like, do it, Rose. If anyone can do it, you can do it. But if you need, but secretly, deep down, they were like, but if you fail, it's what they were saying was, I'll cover your bills. And that was what motivated me. I was like, no
Yeah.
one is going to pay my bills. I'm going to pay them because I'm going to make sales and I'm going to help people and get paid for it. And we did,
Yeah.
right, Jazz? That's what we did.
100%. 100%.
Good,
Couldn't
good.
agree
I'm glad.
more.
Yeah, and we can, yeah, definitely. So, What's been the hardest part of building your business though? Because I know you have the attitude and the mindset, even though we still come across challenges. But what have those challenges been for you?
I think starting out, I didn't know how I was going to make it out there, where I was going to go. Was I going to start up my own practice? Was I going to join a consultancy firm? When I did join a consultancy firm, I didn't know what it would look like, how many clients I would get. I still don't. Like literally, like my income is for like the next 2 months. Every month is like for the next 2 months. I don't know what I'm going to make in 6 months. I still have that feeling. It hasn't gone away. So there is like that anxiousness of how much longer, or is it going to come to an end, or is this it, or is there more? There's still like so many questions, right? And only you can answer that, because only you know how much more you can give and do. No one else is going to like tell you, you can do this, you can do that, because no one knows it like you. Only you know your own boundaries. So yeah, I think that afraidness, it still like continues even today.
Yeah, do you know what? You're so right. Because do you ever get questions like when people say, "Oh, what's your goal 5 years from now, and how are you going to scale your business?"
Well, 100%. Like, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing for like Christmas, let alone like 5 years. Like, when people throw that at me, I'm like, oh, good God. Like, that is like the $1 million question, right?
Well, look, I've got a vision board behind my desk here, and I used to, oh, and that's actually that it's you can't see it, but that glass is cracked. As in, I've had that for so long. I think it's probably a 7-year-old vision board, 7 to 10 years now, and I haven't
Yeah.
changed it ever since. It's just probably outdated. I've done loads of stuff on there already, but what I'm trying to say is early in like my entrepreneurship journey that started about 12 years ago when I first read like The Secret and you know, Think and Grow Rich and all these like amazing personal development books. I used to think that goal setting was like these massive targets that I needed to achieve and like a bucket list of loads of things that I needed to do. And I used to put this immense amount of pressure that I needed to do something by a certain amount of time. Like I need to get my car at 17 and pass my driving test. Then I need to go to uni. And I did do a lot of those things. Like a natural progression in life is for me was,
Yeah.
get a car, go to uni, get a good job and go. But the best achievements that I've had have been and have come from the things that I didn't even plan out or set. There's so Manuka Media is not
Yeah.
on that vision board. The Money Honey is not
Mm,
on that vision board. But that's been like
yeah.
the best stuff that I've, been able to accomplish because the universe just likes movement. And you're saying you're moving and you can only ever see like I like the saying where when you drive in a dark lane at night, right? On a dark
Yeah.
road, you can only with your car, you can only ever see the next 100 to 200 yards ahead. You can't see
Yeah.
round the bend. You can't see the end destination. You've got your sat
Yeah.
nav and you just go and you can only ever see that. So your 2 months ahead is what you're planning for. But come on, Jazz, do you have a bigger vision? Like what's your
I
grand plan?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, initially, like you, I did start off with, you know what, let's make 4 figures, let's make 5 figures, hit that, hit 6 figures. I was like, do I want to do 7 figures? And, when you hit that kind of mark, you're kind of like, no, like, I've got to do more for this. So I was actually approached by a school who didn't have any like financial literacy. They were like, would you come in and speak and just give a talk to the most vulnerable? And just explain to them, how does the world work? None of them knew anything. It's surprising. They don't teach even just the simplest of like, what is a mortgage? What's a freehold? What's a leasehold? So I went in. There were only like 16. Lots of questions. I love that because they're going places when they're asking questions. Like you've got to ask. Um, Done like a 2 hour talk with them, and I was like, you know what? I was like, next time you're 18 or when you're eligible to buy a property, come to me. I'll do it for free just for you. Because I know how much expenditure goes into it anyway. Like I wish like at 18, maybe if a lot of children at that age at 18 knew how the system worked. And then he did. So a couple of weeks ago, he came to me and he's like, "Hey, Jazz, do you remember, you done a talk? And here I am. I've saved my own monies and I'm looking for a solicitor." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like years ago, like 2 years ago now, obviously, them being 16 at the time. And it was just like so heartwarming, and it was just like, wow, like they made it. Like that's amazing. So I definitely like want to do more of that. I haven't quite stepped into it. My youngest has just started full-time education. So I think now it's like the perfect time. I've got more time to give. And I'm gonna be like, right, okay, I want to start like name dropping properties into schools now. I want to make it like part of, like, why isn't it part of the curriculum? I've never understood it.
Yeah, well, that's what we just don't. Oh my god, I've got so much to say about this. But yeah, offline, we can obviously we said we would catch up about what we're going to do with your brand and like what's the next part, because right now it's all well and good like introducing you to brokers like, hey, I'm a solicitor, and everyone wants to work
Yeah,
with you, Jazz. You've been getting lead after lead after lead. We've had to slow down because you don't want to,
yeah.
over egg your
Try
capacity. You want to
myself.
give it,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, yeah, you want to give good service. So we know we can get leads really easily on social media and people buy into you, but it is about the bigger picture. And so I've actually just finished speaking to a school this morning, the one that I've always been helping. And there's now 4 schools on my diary, like in my diary. So I'm getting like way too busy with schools because they need this, Jazz. They're so hungry for us going in and helping their the next generation. So there's stuff that we can
yeah.
do about that for sure. We'll chat about that offline. But if there is anyone listening out there that you work in a school or you're a teacher or you are connected to a school, please reach out to us. Please reach out to me or Jazz, because this is something that we actually do work on proactively. And yeah, we'd love to do more, right?
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. The more
Yeah,
the merrier.
nice. Yeah, amazing. So Jazz, property has always been in your family. Tell me
It
about that
has.
journey of you falling in love with that property journey and why you got into that industry.
I think it was my mum and dad. They've always invested for as young as I remember. Like I remember going to auction houses with my dad, buying houses off plan, before it goes onto the market. He's just been always involved in it. And today I've just seen how much of that wealth has like now it's like generations to come. So I learned a lot from them. And then I happened to marry my husband, who also invests in property, and still do. And I'm like, wow, like the stars have just like aligned. Like I've just, I guess I've understood it because I was always taught it from a very early age. And, I feel blessed for that because not a lot of families come from that kind of, background. Um, but yeah, that's what brought me into property, to be honest. I understood it, I got it. Um, it was just like dead easy. It's not even like a job anymore. Like when I do my conveyancing, people are like, "Oh God, a solicitor is so boring," and I'm like, "God, no! Like there's like so much to it. Like I love it. Like it doesn't even feel like a job." Like my husband's got to say to me sometimes, like, "Can you come off the laptop?" And I'm like, "Oh, just one more case,
Yeah,
just one more file. It won't take me too long."
oh my gosh, I know how you feel. Like I was in the middle of a meditation and I was like, oh, I've got to tell George and Anthony that they've got to reschedule their filming date, because otherwise, if they don't do it now before the end of the year, they're going to miss out. And I'm like, why do I care so much? Like, I know it's not healthy, but it has got to the point where I'm like, I sometimes care more than they do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, and I know, and sometimes, yeah, I need to take a holiday. That's what I need to. I am going on holiday, but even on holiday,
See,
like
I,
I've
I,
agreed.
I gotta, I lie. Like, I take my laptop with me on
Yeah,
holiday. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
know.
Like,
No, I know.
100%.
No, I know. Me too. I've got to do. So we're going. I've got to do a presentation on the 25th of September on stage in Manchester, and I was meant to go on holiday. And I said to my husband, I was like, "We need to fly out the next day because I can't miss that presentation." I was like, "You'll just never understand." I was like, "I can't. My clients asked me to be there for them. I can't not be there." I was like, "I can just fly the next day." So we're flying the next day, but because we're flying a day later, we have to come back a day later, which means that for one of those days, I'll have to do another talk online, but out there on holiday, because I'm not coming back on time. So we had to take the laptop even for that just 1 hour presentation of a webinar, because I'm like, I can't ask 80 people to reschedule their whole diary because I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like your third baby, right? Like, honestly, like that, well, your first baby, but for me, like my third baby, like I say to my husband, you've got to accept it. Like, this is it. This is like part of the family now.
You're so right. That's such a nice way to explain it, because we have a cat and we have to like make sacrifices around, like we love it because she is literally our everything, but you know, it means that like we have to arrange like childcare, like a cat sitter whilst we're away and stuff like that, or one of us has to be home for a certain, so that's, we have to accommodate her because we love her, and that's the same as our business. But I guess it is like that. It's like our husbands never, like illegitimate child, it's like not their child. It's your child and you want them to love it, and you're like, yeah, you're never going to get it the way I get it. And I just have to really be grateful every night. I just say to Matt, I'm like, I'm so grateful for you that you just let me be crazy, you let me be wild. I'm 1 minute I'm in Manchester, next minute I'm in Scotland, and you're like, yeah babe, sure, crack on. And you know, it's just so amazing that we're you know, in a positive environment. That I just am so grateful for that, because it's hard enough as it is out there, right?
For sure.
So 100%. Okay, right, we have to wrap things up, because I like to keep these podcasts like 20 to 30 minutes, you know, whether you're commuting on your way to work or you're in your lunch break. We want this dose of positivity, this dose of honey to you know, give you that sweetness during your day. And so I hope that from today, the highlights for me, for Jaz, like just to sum up, it's having that no matter what attitude. You know, what you've taught me today from your podcast, from your talk today, is even when it seems impossible, you just have to shut the back door, shut the front door and the back door, and just be like, I'm in this room, it has to happen no matter what. So that attitude I've loved. Secondly, even when you hear the naysayers, the no's, oh, why don't you just, oh, I got this, just stick to your guns, like stick to what you believe is true and do it for you. Don't do it for anyone else. That's what Jaz has done. Like you've represented for me today that you've just done it for you. It doesn't matter, even if you had the comfort of your husband or whoever, or a secure job, you were like, no, this is what I'm doing. That's what I got. The third thing I got, which is super, super in line with the Money Honey podcast and Manuka Media and me as what I stand for, which is positive pollination. Positive pollination is spreading that pollen, and you're doing that by helping the next generation. So that I applaud you for, and I want to thank you for coming on the show to talk about that. And so those have been my 3 highlights, but I would love to know, whoever's listening, maybe drop a highlight into the comments, or if you don't want to publicly drop a comment, you can always reach out to Jaz privately and say, hey Jaz, you know what? Your podcast today did this for me. Right? Just that comment goes a really long way. And we always try and empower that. We leave you with that thought at the end of the podcast, because it's all well and good watching something and giving a thumbs up, but that comment really, you know, goes a long way. So that's the act. That's how you can be a part of this, guys. If you're listening, that part of positive pollination, this is the part that you play, is watching, you know, streaming this show, liking, sharing, and reaching out, showing your gratitudes. That's your part in this positive pollination piece. So Jaz, any closing remarks or words or final thoughts that you'd like to leave the listeners with? Because remember, the listeners tend to be money honeys, right? The money honeys in property, construction and finance. What would you like to say to them? Or what if there was you know, your daughter listening to this, or my future daughter, what would you say?
Yeah, block out the white noise. Do whatever you want to do.
I love that. Block out. I write notes from these shows, the white noise. Yeah, because, you know, we then you know, share it and advertise. So that is a rock solid one there. Block out the white noise and just blinkers on, focus on doing the do, and don't get attached. You know, what I would elaborate there is, don't get attached on the result. I think what I hope you take from my side of today's conversation is I have a vision board, and some of the most amazing things that have happened in my life were not even on that board to start with. You know, Matt, this house, Manuka Media, The Money Honey, my number one best-selling book, like those things, I didn't predict that future, right? I just became the person who could achieve those things. And that's what you need to focus on, is becoming the person that enables you to achieve these things. And then the things will come. So once more, thank you again, everyone, for tuning in to the Money Honey podcast. And we hope you enjoyed this show, because I sure did. And as I mentioned, if you'd like to be a part of this positive pollination movement, please share, like, reach out to Jaz. In the show notes, we've got all her contacts, you know, like her Instagram, her LinkedIn. And yes, thank you again for tuning in. Take care, everyone. Bye, Jaz.
Bye. Thanks for having me.